I think we can all agree we all want more. We have dreams, we have goals. We got to ask ourselves first, more what? And that starts, I think, by going and answering that question, well, what do I value the most? And so look at the things that you already got in your holster that you value. Because you don't want to be reckless with those things and cast them off and let all the weeds grow around those. And then all of a sudden you can't even recognize that garden. So I think that the first things were about taking care of things that I value. They were very personal. They would take care of myself. They would take care of my mom, take care of the family, take care of my relationship with God. They were very, very, very personal things to me that I knew and believed would be lifelong maintenance journeys. And that things that I believed at that time that, no, taking care of those is never going to go out of style for you, bud. Pick out the things that are not the fads, because we'll write things down. Those 3 Maseratis. Yeah. Hey, man, you get 20 years from now, you may not like Maserati. You might like a Bugatti. You know what I mean? So don't write Maserati. You know what I mean? Watch out what proper nouns we're using, because some of them may be just fickle. You know what I mean? So the proper nouns, family, God, myself, Chase. So those are things that I gave value to and gave me value and meaning in my life. And so I was like, I was already in the midst of those. And those are things I said, I'm not going to forgive these. And I'm not going to, no matter who I become, I'm not going to say, oh, these are no longer on my plate. I don't need to worry about these. Like you said, the Oscar, that's a new one. That's something that was out there.
That's big.
Becoming a father, that's out there. But since I was 8 years old, the one thing I knew I wanted to be was a father. Wow. I knew I wanted to meet the right person, right woman for me. Didn't have her. Hadn't met her yet at that point. It's far from it. So start with the things that we got in our saddle that you do already give about, that already give you meaning and value in your life, and double down on those. Project forward. And if that happens, what I dream of it to become? And then if you're going to talk about, I think, when we're talking about a career, we got to ask ourselves first, I think this would be really valuable for everyone to ask themselves first, what do you have an innate ability for? An innate talent for? And what are you willing? Is that the same thing you're willing to work your ass off for? And then thirdly, which is a little bit more of an asterisk, is that something that the world would demand? If we're going to go straight capitalism, supply and demand. But we often look at things, and I've done it, I'll bust my hump for it, but I'm like, I'm really not that good at it. Okay. Or I've got something that sometimes we have things that we're really good at, but we're like, I kind of just a natural. I don't want to work at it. If you can find something that you have an innate ability for, and we love doing things we have an innate ability for, right? We have an innate talent, it's in our DNA for. And then go, now I'm ready to educate myself, learn, hustle, go after, seek, create opportunities. Bam, bam. It's going to be in the prism of how I measure every situation where I am going forward. Hunt it down and do what you got to do to get better at it. And then if it's hopefully something that the world can demand,
that's a sweet spot.
Now you're paying your rent, man. Now we got food on the table. Now we're rolling. Now we're waking up with some purpose. Now we're waking up with, it's going to be a hard day today, but I'm not dreading Monday morning. May want to sleep in, but I'm building something. I'm building something here. I'm in construction.
One of the things that I want to connect that to this thought here. 6:22, Matthew 6:22. If thine eye be single, the whole body will be full of light.
Yep.
I believe that's your favorite passage.
Yeah.
You went on a journey, after it was either in the middle or at the tail end of your rom-com, stardom, and you went on a trip, went on a journey with yourself.
Yeah.
I think for
22 days.
22 days in the Amazon.
Yeah.
And there was a moment in the book where you talk about, essentially you had to kind of have a coming to, moment with yourself where you had to shed all the identities that you were holding on to, your rings, your heritage, your background, your clothes, I'm famous, I'm a rom-com guy, I'm an actor, you had to shed all of it.
Yep.
And what was the thing that you found when you let go of your identity in the outer world?
That I was a mammal. A mammal, and for me, as a believer, a child of God.
Uh-huh.
That's it. I baselined it. And the mammal we can all agree on, right? The child of God, that was for me and any other believers. But the baseline it. I got rid of, I remember my dad's ring, which had an M on it, gold melted down from my mom and dad's class rings, and gold from my mom's teeth. Meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
But it was an identity marker. I'm a McConaughey. This is about my dad. I had my American cap that I'd worn for 2 decades. I'm an American. I'm get rid of that. Got rid of all these little talismans that were identities and titles that meant something. They weren't random. They were healthy ones.
Yeah.
But I stripped them all off. It was like, bull. And no, you're not famous. And no, it's not. You were what before you were ever an actor. Before, what are you? What were you? Before you were McConaughey. Before you were Texan. Before you were an American. Before you were an actor. Before you were a movie star. Before you were a celebrity. Well, come on, get it all off. And it was a purge, basically. And I ended up, I was a naked, sweating mammal. I was like, you're a mammal, child of God. And that's what you are. So we've stripped off all the accoutrements. We've stripped off the ornaments. Here we are. And that is the night that I was like, this has happened a couple of times in my life. And I think this is important for us all to do at some point. That's when I was like, okay. And what other truth do we know, McConaughey? Tell you what, another truth I'm realizing right now is that you're the only son of a can't get rid of. So we're going to duke it out for the rest of our life here, or we're going to figure out how to get along.
Wow. What
are we going to forgive right now? And what are we going to say? The buck stops here. No more. I'm not putting up with it. Because I'm tired of playing grab with yourself, McConaughey. Cut the shit, man. Let's get along. I can't get rid of you. Everybody else, every other relationship out there's a choice. You're the one person I don't have a choice to hanging out with. So let's work this out. And just like going back and saying the embarrassment and shame turned into giggles, I began to go like, man, maybe you're being too hard on yourself on this thing. You know what? Get that monkey off your back. You're human, man. Forgive yourself. And these other things, dude, you've been a repeat offender. It hadn't been paying you back. You've been regretting that choice every time you make it, and you keep freaking making it. Cut the man. Evolve. Turn the page. No more. And next morning, I remember even the Sherpas and stuff in Peru. I came out of the tent, and they all started going, La luz! La luz!
Light.
The light. The light. And they were talking about me and the way I was moving.
Interesting.
And I went for a walk. And for the first time during that trip, I didn't give a damn about what was around the next corner.
You weren't thinking about the destination.
I wasn't thinking about the destination of getting to the Amazon. And how it's been 11 days. When are we going to get there? And mind you, this 11 days prior, I had not really been present in the trip because I was thinking about the result, getting to the destination so much. And then this morning, after that night, I'm walking. I'm not even thinking about what's around the next corner. And when I did turn the corner, I was stopped by this sea of atomic, plugged-in neon blue, like a puddle, like a bubbling puddle in the middle of my jungle path. And it stopped me. And I looked at it. I've never seen colors this neon and bright. It was like it was not man-made. It was glowing. I'm completely sober this time. No ayahuasca, no peyote, nothing. This is straight-eyed, right? And it stopped me, and as I stared at it for about 30 seconds, all of a sudden it started to flutter and rise and dissipated. It was tens of thousands of these Amazonian butterflies.
Wow.
And I stayed there for a minute, and then this little words came into my brain from the prime mover that said, all I want is what I can see, and what I can see is in front of me. I was free. I was light. It was magical. I walked. I turned the corner, went down the trail, and there was the Amazon. I finally made it. Made it to the river. Right after that moment.
Wow.
Did not know if I was still days away, weeks away, what. Now, stuff like that happens. We got to listen.
Yeah.
Those are some of those truths that come that you go, nobody else was here to witness that. That was not for the whole class. That was not on the speaker. That was not on the bulletin. That was not on the nightly news. That was not even at church on Sunday with the congregation. That wasn't at school. That wasn't sitting around the dinner table with mom and dad learning lessons. It wasn't from a mentor. That was for me in this moment. I must heed that truth.
You've been on this journey of a lot of people seeing you on screen and your personalities on screen and your talent in characters. But now over the last 3 to 4 years, you've been revealing yourself more and more through your book, through all of your amazing content online, all the interviews you've been doing, and all the solo content, which I think is amazing. Please keep doing that.
Oh, good. Thank you.
I think it's amazing, these lessons that you share. But you're doing something coming up with a couple of buddies of mine, Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins, where you're creating a live virtual event called The Art of Living, Livin. And we'll have all the information linked up below so you guys can just click on a link and get there and get registered. But if you guys go to lhlivin.com, it'll take you right to this event. It's a free event, full, I think about a half day. You, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Trent Shelton, Marie Forleo are putting on this experience. And I really call it an experience. I've watched some of the videos you guys have made behind the scenes. It's going to be incredible. So if you are listening, watching, or seeing a clip of this right now, run to lhlivin.com, sign up. It's 100% free. And you're going to be sharing a lot of wisdom and truth and lessons that you haven't shared in here and expanding upon it and new stories.
You're going to be expanding a lot on this. Where, Dean and Tony came to me and said, look, we loved green lights. And as I wrote in the book, it's an approach to life book. And they said, would you be interested in getting into the process? Like making it tangible tools for people to use that they can measure in circumstances. I was like, yes. So that's what we've been doing. That's what we're going to get under the hood of on the 24th.
It's going to be amazing.
Is how to make it something transformational, hopefully for you individually, where you can see, oh, this is how I can utilize this in my life.
Yes.
I talk about the green lights, yellow lights, and red lights and the approach to them in there. That's the biggest question I've been asked since I put the book out.
Yeah.
Well, the green lights. I'm in the left lane. How do I trust this is as good as it's supposed to be? Is this the right truth for me? Red lights. I can't stand it. What do you mean there's a gift in the red light? How's there a gift in the freaking red light? There is. Yellow light. The one where I got to make a choice to either slow down or put the pedal to the metal. What do? It's coming up. I feel it. I don't know what I do. Do I call an audible? You tell me to make the choice? All of explaining those things, we're going to explain a lot of the science to satisfaction, which will lead to the art of living. And the art is individual. The science is something we can each use and utilize and share, but the art will be yours individually for how you can use it and make it through this dance called life. We're all in. Yeah,
I'm so excited. I'm excited to attend myself and be there. And if you are feeling stuck, or if you feel like you're on the sidelines, if you feel like you've got a really good life, but there's something greater, or if you feel like you're just moving and grooving and life is happening and it's all manifesting and attracting in a beautiful way, this is for people who are in every situation in their life to keep on track. If they're already moving and grooving, if they're at a good life, but they're not getting to that greatness that they want, it's for them. And it's also for people that are stuck or feeling like they're on the sidelines. So make sure you sign up. It's going to be an amazing free virtual event. You can watch it on your phone, at home, on the TV, anywhere it is. It's free. Sign up, lhlivin.com, and we'll link all that up as well. The last story you just told, had the entire room just like in awe and in shock and just silent here as you were talking about this truth that you realized from within, essentially. Came through God and you realized from within. No one was around you. And I mentioned this quote before that, if thine eye be single, thy whole body will be full of light.
Right.
Matthew 6:22. What does that mean to you? If thine eye be single, thy whole body will be full of light. And that light came to you in that moment. And these Sherpas were saying, la luz, you were radiating light after this came to you. Why is this your favorite passage? And what does it mean for you? And how can we start to step into that?
So the mandorla, this is what the mandorla is. So we so often are seeing life in contradictions, right? Future, the past, heaven, hell, technology, culture, and we see them as contradictions. And when in truth, that's two eyes, right? And there's judgment on either side. And there's a duality there. With the truth is in that third eye.
Interesting.
Where they overlap. And that's not a shade. So we go, oh, that's a shade of gray. No, it's not a shade of gray. What the verse is saying, what I get from it is that's where all the colors live. All the colors of the truth live. That passage, when I always tell myself, keep a high eye. Keep the high eye. It's third eye. It shows up in all the religions too. Yes. It shows up everywhere. It's a way of perceiving the truth, I think, which lives in the paradox. And paradox is a word that some people go, oh, don't get into paradox. That's too, I don't know, academic or whatever. No, paradox is where it's both are true. Two things can be true at the same time. It's today we could utilize it. It's like if I seek to understand you and where you're coming from first, I'm probably going to, before I seek to be understood, we don't usually, it has to do with listening, it has to do with how we see things. It's how we judge. It's very easy, and especially today, I think we love to be judge and jury on others and ourselves. And it's a very arrogant thing for us to do. And this passage, if the eye be single and not a dual contradiction, and seeing the contradiction of things have gone, oh, this is true and that's true, and instead of or, right? That's where the truth lives, I believe. And it doesn't mean that you just straddle the fence and you're non-committal about anything.
Right.
That's not what it means. It doesn't mean you're just Mr. In Between. So that's true and that's true and it's all okay. No, you can then have judgment, but see both first. See the overlap of the truth and understand it from both sides and then be understood. And you can then have judgment, but see it through that lens first. Yeah. Because we just don't do it. We come in with one eye. Or me, us versus them. Me versus you. My idea versus yours. Left versus right. Democrat versus Republican. Even, how far can you go? Can you go down to right versus wrong, good versus bad? I mean, we see them as contradictions, and they're not. We all know. We all got a little good in us. We all got a little bad in us. It's a choice we make where we then have judgment. So that passage has elevated my POV quite a bit, and it's one that I daily remind myself of. If I'm getting a low eye on somebody, if I'm condescending people, if I'm objectifying people, I'm like, whoa, high eye, buddy. Come on, open that third eye. It's not open. My kids can see it in my eyes when I'm talking to them. Really? If I'm talking at them, or if I stop and really look at them, and maybe there's something, maybe it's a form of discipline. But then they can see if I'm looking at them like, I love you, man. This is why I'm trying to teach you this. All of a sudden they go, my son said it. I see your third eye, Papa.
Really?
6:22. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I heard you. I didn't hear you before when you were talking just at me. So it's a great reminder. Matthew 6:22. The whole body will be full of light, and you will move lightly and with discernment. Doesn't take away discernment. It doesn't take away judgment. It's just saying, see it through that lens first and understand that truth is where those overlap. Yeah. And then make your decision. Wow. I started to notice that, actually, if you wouldn't have been that sort of all-knowing and what I would call arrogant at this point, you wouldn't have put yourself in the position to learn better or to get humble or to find out, I thought I had it figured out. I didn't. So I was like,